I don't know about you, but I've been in situations where before an important presentation, I'm obviously getting stressed, and what I was doing was kind of trying to forget about stress, almost trick my body into not being stressed. So basically, I'm trying to distract myself with something fun, maybe looking through some memes or some jokes on my phone. So basically, like I said, trying to not to think about stress, not to accept the idea that I am getting stressed. Obviously, I can feel that I'm getting stressed. I can feel the tension in my muscles. I can feel my heart racing. But I'm desperately trying to avoid that thought. I'm trying to, like I said, stay entertained. I'm trying to think that it's just a day like any other day. And little did I know at that time, that this is actually the worst thing that you can do. Try to avoid, try to ignore, and not think about stress, thinking that it will simply go away if we ignore it. And trust me, it will not go away. And quite contrary, it will strike at the worst possible time. So obviously, when you're probably about to present on that stage. So I didn't know that what you need to do is the opposite. You need to greet, to recognize, to accept, to greet, to welcome stress. You need to recognize stress. There is plenty of research into that, into acceptance. That's what it's called, acceptance, stress acceptance. You have to accept and recognize stress. So tell yourself, oh, this is me getting stressed again. I can feel, like I said, I can feel my thoughts racing, my heart racing, my muscles getting tense. This is me getting stressed again. And according to this idea of stress acceptance, being able to recognize these different sensations, the physical reaction of your body to stress, basically puts you in the driver's seat of your emotions. So helps you make sure that you're not ruled by stress, but quite contrary, puts you in control of stress and in control of these responses to stress. So essentially, it increases, and this is one of the key findings of this kind of research, increases your stress tolerance and improves your response to stress, both in the short and in the long term. And the worst thing you can do is to emotionally respond to this stress. Respond emotionally, so start worrying about about the fact that you are being stressed, or trying to ignore that stress. Some other things that happen as a result of this emotional response that we need to try to avoid is, for example, that we tend to generate and believe these different predictions and views of self. So again, as you're getting stressed before this presentation, you're already thinking about being stressed and you're starting to panic. How will that make me look? What will they think about me? Or even sometimes I've even went much farther than that. I started to imagine my career and thinking, if I can't deliver a presentation, how am I, for example, supposed to be giving a lecture? Am I a failure? So you start to generate all these negative thoughts, and of course, this does not help at all. On the other hand, if you can skillfully recognize and accept these different sensations as well as the different thoughts that arise as a temporary state, you learn to avoid to prolong the impact of stress. So prolong these different symptoms and responses of your body to stress. Another thing that will help you reduce stress, at least in the long term, is Moon Milk, which is a product we developed. It's a family business. It's a super healthy spice mix with a crazy amount of health benefits, including reduced stress or improved sleep. So grab yourself a copy. You can find the link under this video. So as I said, there is this whole body of research that supports the claims that I mentioned in this video, such as this study conducted by scholars from Canada and the US, where they had a large-scale survey that measured these different responses and recognition, stress recognition, as well as a couple of different phases of the study where, for example, they exposed students to a stressful situation by asking them to quickly prepare a presentation and then present. So all of this you can find. I'll link to this study as well. It's very interesting. But remember, so next time, what you don't want to do is try to avoid this stress or try to ignore it and hope that it goes away. Instead, welcome it and greet it. So again, just recognize it and say, this is me getting stressed. I have every right to be stressed. So this is completely normal. Don't think about the possible results of this or outcomes of this or negative perception. So you can also combine this with mindfulness in general. It's a very related concept, mindfulness. So this research also talks about mindfulness, being present in the moment, grounding yourself in the moment, which is another technique and another thing that you can combine with that. So being present, thinking about here and now, instead of thinking, for example, about the future or these perceived negative outcomes that I mentioned. And elements of that mindfulness and being present can also include things I mentioned in this other video that I have about different things, different techniques and different things that I do before presentations. So generally thinking about your role, about the audience and everything. So I cover all these things in that video, but I can what was that? But I can guarantee you that that accepting stress, telling yourself what I said before, accepting that stress will reduce this stress significantly. Maybe not by half, not by 50%. I didn't have a way to measure that, obviously. This was a clickbait. But it will reduce stress significantly, and it really, really helps.